That was a good one.
Hi,
Hello.
this is Chi Chi,
This is Chantel.
and you're listening to the reality she prefers. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Long time no see.
Sure.
Couple of hours.
Yep. It was my son's birthday party.
Yes, it was.
Good times.
Yes. Happy birthday, little man. Even though it was last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wow. We are here to discuss, do you want to start?
Never fall.
Apples never fall. Do you want to discuss the wine at all, or do you want to just start?
Of course.
I only bring that up because the wine was a blind purchase, as well as this book that we're discussing. I bought a backup just in case it wasn't great. It's all right. So we are drinking.
Baron Philippe de Rothschild.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Was it Roth or whatever?
That's beautiful.
Maybe it's just Rothschild.
I don't know, but I like your pronunciation. So it's from France, Pinot Noir. Yeah, the Pinot Noir I can see is going down easy for you there, eh? Ready? It's like, that's a danger though with Pinot Noir, right? It's like water. Anyways, so that was a blind purchase, this wine. I did that to go with this blind purchase of this book that I actually just wanted to read it because I've been reading a bunch of stuff and listening to a bunch of stuff outside of like our reading list. And I just lightly recommended this to you, that I was like, you know what, just because of the characters, the character development, the plot line, like just everything, I was like, I think you'd really just like this book. And you were intrigued, and you can, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, like you can tell me the story, but the intention was actually not to suggest it for this podcast. It was just like, hey, I think like down the road one day in the future you might actually like this book. And here we are discussing it.
I liked it a lot. It was a satisfying book to read. And I mean that it was a happy book, it ended really well. But at the same time, I like the complexity of the characters and the development. I really am looking forward to talking about the marriage between, I can't remember the characters.
Stan and Joy.
Okay.
Stan and Joy. I really liked this book.
Yeah.
I really, I was surprised on how much I liked it. It was slow, and I definitely think there were chapters that could have been, slow in that I was thinking it was a thriller, right? Like this whole time, like even just the start of the book, she goes missing, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be like intense drama. And again, it was blind. I didn't read the synopsis really. I just like, it was actually a TikTok ad from the Women's Network about the series that was coming out. And I was like, oh, this could be fun. And I looked up the author. So I'm not totally blind, but I looked up the author. I had, seen 2 of her other movies / TV shows, and it would be good. And yeah, I was really surprised how much I liked the book.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we should just start with the ratings.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5. What about you?
4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that we are conservative with our rating. We tend to give 4.5s to books that we really, really like. But it just didn't hit the 5, right?
Yeah, I agree. I was pleasantly surprised, but you're right, it didn't hit the 5. Like for me, that 5 is literary gold.
Yeah.
So I think that when I think about the book as a whole, she did a great job at outlining what a lifetime of choices does, and how this like domino effect, how it affects everybody, right? Not her, I shouldn't say her, because her and Stan made choices, but even like the choices that they made in their marriage, how that affected their children, and the fact that their children couldn't really hold on to relationships very long because of the way that they modeled their relationship. And I know you want to talk about their relationship and their marriage, and just like the choice that they made with their tennis program, their tennis business, and how coaching versus not coaching, and what Joy ended up doing to Stan for his career, like that choice, how it all, like that, her choice changed Stan's trajectory. And in some ways might be influenced, like his behavior, his attitude, why he was mad, like, you know what I mean? Like there were reasons why he was mad, which, you know, he explains at the beginning, or the reasons why he walks away essentially and why he gets mad.
Can you remind me what those are?
For Stan?
Yeah.
So his mom,
Okay.
right?
It's the violence that he witnesses between his father
and he
and
doesn't want to repeat
Did he
history.
actually ever? Okay, I do remember reading that. I just don't remember if he actually explains that as.
Well, it's very short, and I thought.
Did you read it physically? You read it physically. Okay, it's
I
easier to pick up on these things.
I mixed reading and listening, and I read that part, and I was like, okay, so while I don't agree with what he was doing, but in his mind, it was either like he had so much rage and anger that he thought he was going to like physically hurt his family, that he thought it would be better to like step away.
I do not remember this.
That's okay.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I took from the ending for him, is the reason why he left for those periods of time was because of he witnessed his father. I don't know if there was like actual physical violence. I can't remember, but there was definitely like tension, and his father had a temper, and he didn't want to repeat that.
Oh, there's physical violence. His father assaulted his mom.
Okay, so
I'm fairly sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. Now I'm questioning it. But yeah, that's why he left.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought like the whole book is about choices, right? And even Savannah's choice to, you know, choose that house, to go through that process, and, you know, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really good, interesting. Like,
oh goodness.
And the characters are so different and so complex, and the relationship between Stan and Joy is just like, it's so funny, but yet not at the same time.
Yeah.
Like the ending almost makes it comically beautiful.
Yeah.
So Stan and Joy are almost ex tennis pros who in their lifetime decide to open up a tennis school. Stan and Joy are teachers, and they have 4 children, and the book is about their life, their children, and the choices that they make, and the trauma that comes from those choices that they made, and past trauma. But basically this girl, Savannah, knocks at their door, stays as a wanted then unwanted house guest, and really makes an impact on their life, and at the end of the day drops a huge bomb that unleashes a whirlwind of unleashes a domino effect for everyone involved based on the choices of Stan and Joy. And I forgot really one. Good. I forgot one major piece.
What?
Joy goes missing. Yeah, the whole book is like trying to figure out what happened to Joy.
So many things are coming up for me as you're talking, but the first thing I'll say is just the experience between reading and listening. I know that the first time when you told me you listened to audiobooks, I was a little, maybe I came off rude. I don't know.
No, I get that all the time.
You're very chill overall.
Sometimes.
Yeah, no, most times. But I kind of, in my head, I was like, it's not the same. You know, I really was. I was like, but now I've been listening. I've been listening because it affords you a lot more time and so flexibility, and it's enjoyable. It's really enjoyable.
Not all of them.
But I will say, I lose a lot of detail.
Yeah.
That I kind of wish that I would. It's what you pay for the flexibility and.
I think on that note too, you're 100% right, because if like you're washing the dishes and listening to an audiobook and you miss something, or your kids are talking to you and you miss it, that could be a crucial.
And sometimes you just continue, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever fallen asleep.
Oh yes, but I set sleep timers so that I'm like, okay, I set it at the end of the chapter. When the chapter's done, I turn off my headphones.
That's smart.
But like on that note though, like there are some books that I can tell right away they're not audiobooks because they take like I just need to focus and I need to pay attention and I need to physically read it. Other times I'm just like, this is great. Like, this is not a negative thing. Like with some of the Lisa Jewell books, like I'm listening to another one that's not on our list. Please don't hate me. Okay. And it's super easy. Like power through. I can literally like do anything while listening to it. Right. It's too much crucial. And that's not a negative thing. Right. No. It's just, obviously I would even pick up on even more if I was reading the physical. It's just nice to like have
this book was very easy to listen to.
It was.
I obviously missed a crucial a crucial point about Stan's explanation. I don't remember that at all, but I do remember that his father was abusive, and this fact about his father, the grandfather, the patriarch, looms over this entire family. And I want to talk about that.
Sounds
good.
Think
it's really interesting.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I think the book is about, well, before I continue talking about the grandfather and the patriarch, I think this book is about intergenerational trauma, really. And in addition to this really big piece, which I think the plot revolves around, like you say, choices, but also how intergenerational trauma affects the choices that we make in the present. I also think that the book is about how our trauma comes into, like, bears on our present relationships. So the marriage being the central plot line. The marriage between Stan and
Joy
is a crucial piece in, you know, just in all of the themes. So basically Joy goes missing, and everybody except some of his children are under the impression that Stan has murdered Joy. And this is where we're all sort of leaning towards, because he looks really guilty.
He does.
But as things unfold, it turns out that she just needed a break. You know, a break from.
She was mad at him. So she decided to leave. Throughout the whole marriage, she just he left whenever things got hard. Not hard. When he got frustrated, he got really angry, or was really difficult for him to process his emotions. He physically left for like hours to days. So she was like, that's it. So I'm out of here.
Okay, before I forget this train of thought,
sorry.
Because something else I really want us to talk about is the domestic piece, the domestic labor that Joy felt the need to sort of run away from, because she'd been doing so much labor that she didn't even enjoy. She'd been cooking. She'd been, you know, taking care of the home, tending to kids. She sacrificed her career in order to be a mom. And in the end, this is the thing that allows for another person to penetrate their marriage, right? Because I can't remember the girl now. Savannah. Man, you're really good at the names today.
I really liked this book.
All right. So Savannah gets into, like, knocks on their door one day. And it turns out towards the end of the story that Savannah, who they've been housing because they think she's a domestic violence victim, is actually somebody from their past who has a deep vendetta against the family. And so she, like, lets loose a massive secret that ultimately could end the marriage, but turns out to be the biggest motive.
Lay it on me.
You know, I felt it was really striking to see somebody, you know, like a tennis star, somebody who's good at their craft, sacrifice a lot of what they, you know, their career basically to tend to the family and into their marriage. But mainly it was, what I found so interesting was how much she hated cooking. How much she hated domestic labor, but how she had continued performing and doing so much. Taking care and cooking for Stan. And all of this enabled, you know, Savannah to come in. And it really wasn't, I mean, Stan enjoyed Savannah's company up until she accuses him of, infidelity. But
Yeah.
Joy had a hard time stomaching the accusation because she wasn't ready to let Savannah go because of what Savannah was offering for their marriage, which was
A break.
relief. Yeah, relief from
Because it's a lot.
domestic work.
It's a lot. That's real. Like, the author pointed out a real like circumstance that a lot of us face. I know, like, honestly, like, I might be younger than Joy, but man, I remember texting you being like, I am Joy.
Yeah.
Minus cooking. I don't cook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful, like, because I don't like it. I'm not good at it. Don't like it. But besides that, like, the domestic labor, the child rearing, it's not all on me, but I don't like doing it. Minus the child rearing. I do enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I resonated with Joy in so many ways. But I think that the author did such a great job of depicting the complexities of, like, relationship, like, and how this is just like their marriage. This is part of marriage.
Yeah.
She brought it to light, something so mundane as, like, cooking and cleaning and child rearing. And to answer your question, I never got, or not to answer your question, I don't think you asked a question.
Yeah.
I didn't get the sense from Joy until the very end that she was upset to have stopped playing tennis to raise her kids. I didn't get that till the very end.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, throughout the whole book, it seemed like she was a really devoted and dedicated mother. And she did take ownership in the business, where she made that very clear that, and maybe she was overcompensating the fact of, like, oh, I'm not a tennis star, but I'm running the business, I'm doing this, Stan does the teaching, Stan, but I'm the one who does the business, I'm the one who does the books, right? Like, she made it very clear that while she is not wanting to do cooking or any of the domestic work, that she was still, like, putting in her role into the tennis school that they were running. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like she was, I felt that she, like, I didn't think she was not wanting to be a mom throughout the whole thing.
It's just how complex that feeling and that role, like, that being in that position, right? That subject position is. It's something I think we can all resonate with. If you have children or your wife, you kind of understand, right? And you're career driven, but there are things, you love your kids, you love your family, but you find a lot of it exhausting. And so it makes sense that it doesn't come out till the end.
Yeah.
If maybe subconsciously she hadn't really processed. Yeah. And so we're sort of going through this journey throughout the book with her. It's not from her point of view, but just going through the journey, right? Of understanding why she leaves the home and understanding what it is that she needed, like, relief from. So yeah, it does make sense that it would come out right at the end.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You know what though, a question that just popped into my mind.
Yeah.
I never got the sense that they were in financial hardship at all. So if she hated cooking, why didn't she just hire someone? If she hated cleaning, why didn't she just hire someone to help her out?
Maybe this is
because didn't she say that when Savannah came, like, something about, like, her, she should have just done this a long time ago, or she could pay her, or she could pay her
she could always afford it.
Yeah, she could always afford it. So I don't understand, like, maybe it was her way of, again, because I feel very close to, I think she's almost me.
Yeah.
That she took pride in, like, I can do everything, right? Like, I can manage, because I know that's how I feel. Like, I don't want your help, even though, like, I could absolutely use your help.
Yes.
I want to come off as this strong, put together woman who's got everything together. I run, like, not me, Joy, I run this tennis school. I do all the business. I may not coach, but no. She was very persistent in the fact that, like, I run the business. I do all of the business side of thing, but Stan just teaches. Like, it was like, she's the spearhead of this business.
Yeah.
She's raised 4 kids. She's, she does this for her children. She's done this. She reaches out to them. She cooks, she cleans, she still fits. They still fit in time for doubles tennis. Like, it just seems like she's putting on this facade of that she has everything together. When in the background, like many of us, like we don't want to cook, we don't want to clean, we don't want to do all of these things.
Yeah.
And yes, she could have hired help, but, like, how would that have looked? Maybe that's where I don't know if that's what she was thinking. Because, like, I know for myself, like, even if I had more money, I wouldn't want to, like, I'm like, I can clean myself. I have time to clean myself. I would never hire a nanny. Like, that's just my mentality. But, like, in the inside, I might be like, I'm dying, like, help me,
I think that what you're talking about is really important and probably hits at the way that we embody this identity and this role and the duties that we're expected to perform.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, just like, embodying motherhood as a sort of as a way of responding to these social expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, that's really interesting, I would say.
Now, speaking of motherhood, I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of her? We're gonna have to spoil because of my question.
Okay.
So, spoiler alert. What do you think of her choice that she made regarding Stan's career? So, for those of you who, like, are not going to read the book, Stan had a star pupil who he believed would make it all the way to, I don't know I should know all the tennis terms. I'm sorry, but I should. We have a big tennis family here too. Like, all the way to the top, like, whatever the top of tennis is, like Wimbledon. I think they mentioned Wimbledon a bunch. So, and like the top. But Joy made the decision that Stan, her husband, couldn't take this student who was not one of their children, because all 4 of their children play tennis, to the top. She made the decision as a mom that would greatly affect them growing up and into their adulthood if their father got this guy, I forget his name, something Hadid or something, I don't know, all the way to the top, and not one of their kids.
Right.
So she called the kid's dad, and said, look, you're not meant to be at this tennis school, go somewhere else, here's a better tennis school, and didn't tell Stan. And Stan lived with the fact that he thought that this kid and his dad chose another coach because he wasn't good enough. Right. He wasn't the best option, and he lived with this for his, like, shouldn't say the exact years, but I want to say, like, a good 20-30 years. Yeah. Right? Like, that affected Stan, that affected their kids, that affected their marriage, I'm sure. Yeah. So what do you think of that choice? And she claims that she did it because it was in the kids' best interests, and even the kids were upset when they found out that they did that she did that to their dad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, she did this thing for her kids.
Do you agree with it?
I do. I believe that somebody who has so far sacrificed everything for her role as mother would do this ultimate thing of betrayal against her husband, again, for the children. I think there's more to say that the only thing that she ever really did for herself is right at the end, as an elderly, walking away and going to this retreat and leaving a note for her family and saying, I am going off grid. Yeah. That's the single act that she's ever done for herself. Everything else is for her family and for her children, which means that the instant she became her mother, that that became her
Yeah.
single identity.
Yeah.
So I think that the book offers her agency right at the end, and I think that that's nice, especially for the reader, like knowing that she's gone on this retreat for herself. That's really good. That's a redeeming piece for her.
Right.
But I think it's really sad that even this sort of moment of doing something against the grain, against what is being expected, she's doing it singularly for the benefit of her children and not even for herself, you know?
I hear you. I don't know what I would do. I mean, I agree with her in her reasoning, but that's also a huge betrayal against her marriage.
Yeah.
Like, Stan was also on track to become a pro tennis player.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I don't remember if they said it, but so then my understanding is if you're running a tennis school, the next step would be to coach someone to get to where you didn't go.
Yeah.
And that would be a really great achievement.
Yeah.
So for her to like block that for him and not like be like hand in hand with wanting to pursue that with him and go that mile with him, like his success is her success, you know, like that seems a little bit I get where she's coming from, and I think that should have been in discussion with him and the implications and how he could have maybe coached them and like how they could have incorporated, but for her to go behind his back in that way, and really cut off almost like his dream too, I thought that was not cool.
Well, I don't know about that.
I do. Like they're in a marriage.
You're looking at it from your role as a mother right now and a wife.
Yeah.
I think you're being subjective.
I am Joy. Hello.
I love it.
I may not be like however old she is, but like I'm Joy.
But think about where she was in this marriage, in this dysfunctional marriage with this man who walks out.
Yeah, I know.
Every time they have a disagreement, every time he just evades conflict and leaves for days. Okay. That, right, could be read, I think rightfully should be read as a form of abuse, right? Like, even if it's unwitting on his part, it's psychologically detrimental.
Yeah, okay,
for the family and
like,
for the
relationship.
relationship.
But sure, psychologically abusive. Sure.
It is. It's on a different level. Like I can't even imagine.
And then they not discuss
not knowing.
Discuss it. Like the whole foundation of I hear what you're saying. So like the whole foundation of what a marriage is built on.
Yeah.
Communication, trust, understanding. He's blowing that out the window. So why should she give him the same respect? Okay, I hear what you're saying.
Like, that's not what I'm saying.
I know that's not what you're saying, but I'm saying that. I'm saying that why should she do that and give him that respect if he's not going to do the same?
I love that you're still reading it from a very subjective lens. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm going to rationalize her behavior because he's done X, Y, and Z. But that's not exactly like I'm saying that where she is in this marriage is not even secure. Right?
So she would feel that way because of the actions that Stan is portraying.
Exactly.
But I don't think that Stan actually feels that way.
It's not about how anyone feels.
No, but I'm not. And I'm not trying to stand up for Stan because I just think that
he's just redeemed at the end. Sorry to cut you off.
He is redeemed at the end. I just didn't want to say it. I am defending him because it's like if you ask me halfway through the book or even 3/4 of the way the book, I feel the same.
Exactly.
But because he has this explanation, but it's not communicated with her.
Yeah.
If he would have just communicated, hey, look, like this is why I'm leaving.
Yeah.
This is why I'm going to continue to leave.
Yeah.
Stan, if you just tell Joy, she might be understanding, or at least she wouldn't be having a mental breakdown about why her husband is leaving and the possible 100 scenarios that are going through her head. So of course she might not respect you
Right.
in your career and make this decision because she doesn't think you're in it.
Yeah. Again, this is why I really like how you started this whole conversation, which is to talk about choice, how choice lingers and the effects of our choice in, the future. Yeah, I think that they made a series of choices and decisions based on their experiences and their traumas.
Not to mention, sorry,
Yeah.
I just like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So Joy's choice to not allow essentially Stan to coach this kid. What is his name? Anyways, something Hadid.
Yeah.
Makes this kid go to another tennis club and become like the next Roger Federer, like the next big, like he's amazing at tennis. He's famous.
Yeah.
But his sister is forgotten about. And his sister, Savannah, is the one who comes knocking at their door.
Savannah.
So that one choice that Joy made, how it affected everybody.
Right.
Literally, her one choice to tell that lie
Right.
affected Stan's life. It
Right.
affected their marriage dynamic, which then affected their kids' perception of what a family is, what a relationship is, because none of the kids could keep a relationship going.
Yeah.
And then it affected like that tennis player and his sister. Like, because she wanted to be a professional ballerina, but
It's not
her
Joy's problem, though. It's not her responsibility.
I know that, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's her
Okay,
fault.
okay, gotcha,
I'm not
gotcha.
at all saying
Okay.
it's our fault. I'm just
Right.
saying it's, you had mentioned
Right,
the fact
right.
of
The
choice.
themes, yes.
The theme of a choice.
Right,
That
right.
one, and it wasn't until we like literally, so I was like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
That one single choice,
Yeah.
and why I like this book so much.
Oh, yes.
Like, all about choices.
Yeah. And trauma.
Yeah,
Choices
yeah,
and
because
trauma.
because the choices are stemming from the root
From-
cause
exactly.
of trauma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I do like it a lot, actually. And I like that it was deep and complex, and yet very lighthearted.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
it was
didn't-
funny too at points.
It really
right?
was, and you didn't have to get your heart torn out.
No,
right?
Yeah, I really like that. It
Yeah.
still made such an impact.
And like
I-
you said, comedy. I think you said comic. It felt like a comedy.
Yeah.
Right. Where all of the comedy versus tragedy. That's right. So it felt more like a comedy where everything ends off well, but there's still that depth.
yeah. Because like, I mean, the whole time you think that Joy is missing,
Yeah.
and then she builds the plot of that Stan murdered her. I know that Stan murdered her, and we have the kids. Like, the kids are thinking that their dad killed the mom.
Yeah.
And then what does she do? She goes on vacation and she leaves a note. But guess what?
Living her best
Because
life.
the dog eats the note.
Ate the note.
The dog ate the note. Like, are you kidding me right now? And she sends a text that's all jumbled, and the kids are freaking out, and it's all
somebody
jumbled
else wrote
because
it.
she can't find her glasses.
I mean,
Like, seriously?
it's amazing.
I know, it really is good.
It's amazing. Yeah. What else did I want to talk about? Did you listen to the? Okay, you might not have listened to it, but I listened all the way to the end.
Okay.
So the end notes,
I didn't listen to
where she gives all the credits.
Oh, no, I didn't.
And I loved the credits.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, it was just amazing.
Acknowledgements?
I think she's just a funny person.
all right.
She gives credits to somebody who she felt obliged to give credits to this person just because she used an idea that stemmed from a conversation she had with this person in her last book, and she never gave them credit. I burst out laughing. I thought it was the funniest thing. And even what's the character's name that's dating the oldest sister?
Oh, gosh.
Just the name that she is presented always first and last name. Oh God, it's such a good name. Anyway, it's a fan that won a contest.
Oh, really?
I loved it. I
That's
just
fun. I'll read the
loved
acknowledgements.
it.
I'll read the acknowledgements.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.